All right, this is the Fantasy Sports Boss with a Black Friday Miami Dolphins New York Jets wrap up. And I guess for a team that's already given us the butt fumble, the fake Dan Marino spike, we can now go with a fail Mary. The New York Jets just, once again, taking it to a new low in terms of their ineptitude on offense and just the comical overall play of this team, which is a dead team walking, the most pathetic offense I've seen in a long time. In terms of that unbelievable 99-yard interception return right before the half. You couldn't draw it up any worse, and we're going to get into all that. So again, this is the Fantasy Sports Bus. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And listen, we knew this was going to be bad. When the NFL came up with this idea for Black Friday, I thought, okay, this is good. Usually most people are just kind of relaxing on a Friday. If you have the day off, some college football games on, let's get an NFL game in there. And this is just the NFL's goal of saturating every part of the marketplace and the available days and windows and whatnot. But the idea was Aaron Rodgers was going to be healthy. And again, the biggest fail of this Jets front office, and there's a lot of failures, is that they did not have a Gardner Minshew, Jacoby Brissett backing up Aaron Rodgers in case disaster happened, which it did 4 plays into the season. And so then once you had Tim Boyle, how does Amazon feel about this one, right? Going into the game knowing it was Tim Boyle against Miami, the juggernaut Miami offense, you knew it was going to be bad. But give the Jets defense credit, at least early on, keeping the team in the game, having an interception return for a score. Like Tua Tagovailoa almost seemed to play down to the level of competition, and he was not good in this one. I believe he had less than 10 fantasy points, 2 interceptions, only 1 touchdown, but it was only a matter of time before the Jets imploded, which they did in a spectacular fashion with that interception. Tim Boyle obviously was not the answer. 27-38. He took 1 million sacks, threw a late garbage time touchdown. Big deal. 2 interceptions. Of course, the one, the fail Mary. And again, the Jets offensive players, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, chief among them, are being completely dragged down. And if you're an owner of either of these guys, basically Garrett Wilson, what he did with that late score is the best you can hope for. Right? Wilson, give him credit, 7 for 44 in a score, but only 6.3 per pop. It is a pop gun offense. And listen, this is what happens when you hand basically the entire franchise over to Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers, with his self-serving nonsense, basically was the GM this offseason. And how about his track record as a GM, Aaron Rodgers? He wants Randall Cobb brought in, complete bust. He can't even get on the field the last couple of weeks. He wants Allen Lazard. Allen Lazard, who is basically a complimentary receiver, gets $44 million, almost $30 million guaranteed from the Jets, and they did not activate him yesterday. They had him on the bench in street clothes. Allen Lazard not even 1 year into a 4-year deal. And then, of course, Nathaniel Hackett. Wants Nathaniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator. They moved him up into the booth from the sideline or vice versa, whichever it was. How about moving him out of the stadium? Like, how about just moving him out of the state from the organization? Like, Nathaniel Hackett, it's just embarrassing how bad he is. And you think this franchise would learn, having hired his father all those years ago with the same kind of results. And this whole fallacy, I don't want to hear this anymore about Aaron Rodgers with his doctor, his miracle drugs, coming back for Christmas Eve, the great hope, look at me. I don't want to hear any of this. If the Jets are serious with Aaron Rodgers coming back next year, you sit him down and you tell him, you are not coming back this year. And if he pouts, if he starts screaming and he wants to leave, he goes on the Pat McAfee show and starts trashing the Jets. He wants out. Let him go. Good. Let him go. Because he single-handedly destroyed this offense with his self-centered requests of Lazard and Randall Cobb and Nathaniel Hackett, and the Jets are stuck. And Robert Saleh is an absolute joke. This offensive line is an absolute joke. This team is a joke, putting Tim Boyle out there. And if they go to Trevor Siemian next week, if they go to the hot dog guy the week after that, it doesn't even matter. This team is just a complete and utter disgrace. Every week we now have this. And not for nothing, the NFL, this is a problem for the NFL. You have a lot of bad games. I did the wrap-up on the Thanksgiving games. Washington, the Seattle, situation with Geno Smith against San Francisco. 3 of the 4 national games were awful. from Thanksgiving through Black Friday. And you have a lot of these key quarterback injuries. Deshaun Watson in Cleveland, Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, the Aaron Rodgers all season with the Jets. When these quarterbacks go down, it leaves nothing but slop and disaster in their wake. And it's almost unwatchable. This was an unwatchable game. And Tua Tagovailoa seemed to be inspired to play like shit. 21 of 30, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, looking at the Jets. It was contagious. Luckily he had his 2 receivers. And again, I don't even want to hear any more about the Jets secondary. DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner, they were both awful. Jalen Waddle, 8 for 114. Tyreek Hill, 9 for 102 and a touchdown. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, the number 1 duo in the NFL, baloney. They were both burned the entire game. Raheem Mostert, 20 of 94, keeping his unbelievably good season going, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Jeff Wilson actually contributed as well. So, this was just an absolute disgrace, this game, if you're the Jets. And now what do they do next week? Who cares? But if they think that Aaron Rodgers coming back behind this offensive line, he wants to show the world, the NFL, that look at me, I can come back from this injury in 4 months. Big deal. And again, it continues to go back with his self-serving nonsense. We get this all the time with Aaron Rodgers, and I'm over it. Great player, no doubt about it. He'll walk into the Hall of Fame. But all the noise, all the distractions, all the bullshit that he brings along with it, it's almost not even worth it. And the Jets organization, I don't know what they have to do. They need to just maybe flip a coin or pick names out of a hat when it comes to drafting quarterbacks, because it can't get any worse. Zach Wilson, Christian Hackenberg, Sam Darnold, Mark Sanchez, going all the way back to Browning Nagel. How are they grading quarterbacks? Just do the opposite. You got to be kidding me. They let Mike White go to the Miami Dolphins on a 2-year deal. He would have been perfect to back up Aaron Rodgers. And he goes to the Dolphins. Give me a break. What a joke. And, he went in there and he took the kneel down at the end of the game to stick it to the Jets. Good. Pick up the Atlanta Falcons defense. The Jets play them next week. That's it.